Okay, I have had these markers sitting here for way too long. It is time to finally try them. Okay, this company, and I'm saying this company because every time I try to pronounce this word, it makes me laugh because I just sound like a pirate. I don't know how to actually say it. Arrtx. Anyway, this company sent me their markers quite a while ago, and I just have had them sitting here needing a good excuse to try them. And today, I mean, there's no real good excuse. I just want to try them. So I'm going to open them up and we're going to talk about them. They are acrylic markers, and they say liquid ink, zero pumping, and it has 60 colors. Right off the bat, I actually really like just the box that they came in. And also it's a smart design. These come out in little trays, so I can just spread them out here on my desk. If I can get them out. Okay. This is a lot of variety of colors, which is amazing, and they look super fun right off the bat. Shake well with the cap on before use. All sounds pretty straightforward to me. And if I look at the tip, it's like a pretty significantly large brush tip, but it looks like it's already saturated, which is great. So I'm gonna push these aside a little bit. I'm gonna grab my journal and open up to a blank page. And I'm just going to doodle, I think. Similar to what I did on that last page of doodles, I think. I'm gonna do something like that and just test out these colors as I do. So actually, I need some washi tape. I like doing this whenever I'm doing like a spread of just doodlies because it gives it like a nice solid edge. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pick my color scheme. This blue, really light pink. Oh, clearly I'm going very pastel today. Peach? Yeah, that's the one. Okay, super pastel. Maybe it's just that I'm in like Easter brain mindset right now. I'm just gonna start doodling. Okay, I'm gonna do like the most, ooh, that is a nice pungent color. That's a smell word, isn't it? Pungent, but you know what I mean. That is a bold. Okay, I do notice that second petal I drew is lighter though. Maybe I need to shake it some more. Because like that first one was pretty pigmented, and the second and third one have kind of run out a little bit. So maybe these just need to be shaken often. Yeah, so that's giving it better coverage. But overall, the colors are really pretty right away. And the depth, like the coverage of the color is nice. It doesn't feel like I need to like go over it a million times to get the coverage I want. So that's cool. I'm gonna try this peachy color, like a different shape of flower. I'm gonna do some like cone flowers. Ooh, I like the peach. That looks pretty. Okay, same thing though. I feel like I need to shake it more. Like it almost feels like a paintbrush, like you need to dip it. And maybe that's just how acrylic markers work. I'm not like the most familiar with acrylic markers. It also could be that the paper I'm using is watercolor paper, so it like really does kind of suck up a lot of the juice. I really have no plan for what the design of this page is that I'm doing right now. I'm just winging it completely. Ooh, actually, no, I just spotted this one. It's like beige, like a really light beige. Let's see how that works. Oh, I hear a little thing breaking up in there, like a little ball. That didn't happen with the other ones. So maybe I just didn't shake them properly. I think I just need to shake them better. So let's see. Okay, but I want to do like a, ooh, I like that. That's pretty. These colors go nicely together. And you can kind of layer them. The way acrylic paint works, like you can add on top of it and it'll be opaque enough that you can layer which is not the same with water-based markers, which is what I use a lot of the time. Okay, there's some cute flowers. I need to put more of the pink ones around. Testing out if they can go on top of each other, which I just did here, and the pink is on top, which is nice. Like you can't see the other color underneath it. Okay, so far, these markers are very quick and easy to use because they layer nicely. They're like opaque right off the bat, and I'm only noticing like a tiny bit of pilling on the paper. And as always, like that's probably just because of the paper that I chose to use. I'm gonna need a green in here. I think maybe it's this one. Okay, I might regret this. We're just gonna do it. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave that to the end. I'm gonna do some blue first. I want some like little berry style things. Literally just squigglies. And I'm picturing it having like a stem coming down here. Do some more of those over here. I'm honestly just scribbling. So if this looks intimidating because I'm going so fast, just know that there is pretty much no skill involved. These are scribbles. And then we're gonna tie them all together at the end. Okay, let's put in some green so I can kind of get an idea of what I'm trying to do here. Oh, that's actually very pretty green. Yeah, it's pretty accurate to what's on the cap. Okay, I like it. Okay, and the one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that these are brush tips, so they're flexible, and they let you get thinner and thicker lines, which is, in my opinion, always a good thing. As a person who practices brush calligraphy, I'm just gonna draw in some leaves real quick. And I'm noticing that with these too, if you press a little lighter, they don't deposit quite as much ink, so you can kind of get, and by ink I mean paint, you can kind of get some like variation. Like right there, I got a little light spot, which I kind of like. I often use leaves in compositions like this just to like fill stuff out. Smaller leaves, bigger leaves, leaves that go in front of the flower, leaves that go behind the flower. Honestly, just like not overthinking this. It's meant to just be an experiment. Not gonna lie to you, I'm not obsessed with this page right now, but that's okay. Now I'm just overthinking this layout and not thinking about the whole point of this tutorial, which was to test the markers. But this is the life, you know, when you start a drawing, I can't just draw 2 flowers and call it quits. I have to see it through and complete my drawing. But I need to put this green down. I'm overdoing it with the green. I need to bring in some brighter yellow. Let's shake up this yellow. And I'm gonna need to do like a bunch of little daisy-ish style flowers just to bring the happiness back into this drawing. Something about the color palette I chose today was just not it for me. Okay, interesting. That yellow does not cover that green. I feel like if I let it dry and layer, maybe it would. But interesting discovery there. It also doesn't totally cover the pink. You can see the pink a little bit through it, which I don't really mind, to be honest. I think it's kind of a fun effect. But if I want these to, like some of these yellow ones to look like they're going behind, I'm gonna have to just manually stop my pen. Okay, the yellow is bringing this back to life for me. There was a minute there where I was like, I am not going to like the outcome of this. So I guess long story short, I'm liking these pens, markers, I should say. Okay, there's my yellow. I'm going to now, do I do something crazy and fill in the entire white background with a different color, like a dark? Yes, I do. Do I do it really dark blue or do I do it black? Ooh, or I could do like a maroon. I feel like some of you are watching, it's like a horror movie where you're like, don't do it. This is turning into a longer experiment than I thought, but now we're in it. This is the part where if I wasn't filming, I'd be turning on some like chill folk, indie, slow music, and just vibing while I color this in, because at this point it's a coloring book. But look at the coverage of these markers, like it's working really well. Okay, I had an idea as I was doing this that I actually think it would be kind of fun, because I want to experiment with other colors in this set, to do different color backgrounds. So I've kind of ended my red like in the natural places where the coloring like openings ended. And now I want to try a different color. This, honestly, this spread is probably going to turn out to be something I'm not like a huge fan of, but I think that in order to really truly experiment with these colors, I got to try more than just a couple of them, you know? And I will say that doing this coloring technique is requiring me to like press lighter and harder on the markers, which is giving me like kind of a full image of how they work in terms of being able to use like the flexibility of them. I truly don't think they would be great for actual calligraphy and brush lettering, simply because the tip is not like, gosh, how do I explain it? It's not super bounce backy. Is that a word? Is that something that some people might understand if you are in the calligraphy and hand lettering world? Like when I'm pushing on it, it's kind of sticking on one angle and not totally bouncing back to where I want it to, which personally I find really frustrating for actual lettering. But the fact that it is flexible, period, and has like a brush tip, which allows me to get some thin parts and some thick parts, is making it really helpful for coloring. So I would use these markers definitely for coloring and drawing, less for brush lettering and calligraphy. This blue is actually a very fun background to these colors. And just in case anyone's wondering, I'm going to go in and add some details to these flowers after with a black pen, as I always do, to make things really pop at the very end. But because right now they're looking a little flat. How fun is this technique though? Okay, cute. I gotta find like a natural place to switch colors again. Not that I know what color I'm gonna do for the end. I might actually experiment with trying the black. Like, this is not gonna be a piece of art that I'm framing. This is a piece of art where I can look at it and be like, I used that to experiment with different colors and a new medium. And I accomplished that. I am noticing that the tip of this is already getting a little bit frayed on the parts where I'm trying to do a really thin line. So like I said, I don't think these pens are very bounce backy. It's still working great for doing like big fill, but if you look at the tip, I don't know if you can really see it in the camera. It like is kind of frayed on the edges already just from using it on rough paper, and that's my bad. I shouldn't have used it immediately on watercolor paper. I should have experimented with it a little more first. All right, and now I think I will go to my gut reaction at the very start, which was to do some black on the background. This might be crazy. I might end up hating it. We're gonna find out. And regardless, we'll see how opaque this black is and if I like it for future drawing. Okay, it's opaque. There's something about the boldness of doing a black background that makes a piece look totally different. I have this curiosity right now to find out if I will be able to add white details or any like lighter color details on top of this black, if this acrylic paint is opaque enough to layer light on top of dark. And I have a feeling it's not gonna work super well, but if I try to just do like some dots after with the white, I wanna see if it works. So as soon as I'm finished coloring this in, I'll test that as maybe my last test of these pens. My last requirement is to see how good the white is. I have a video on my channel, I'll link to it, where I test all my white pens so that you don't have to, because white is really hard to find. Like a good marker, a good paint marker that can be opaque and that actually shows up on top of things. So I did a whole video testing that, and I'll share it because there really aren't that many that work well. All right, the black background is done. I was gonna maybe like add a center on this and like put some black marker. You know, I probably should. I might not do any insides of the flowers, but I think I'm probably gonna outline things in black. I don't know. I wish I could talk to you and be like, what do you think? Should I add more? Should I leave it? Okay, for now, I'm gonna leave it. And I wanna do my last white pen test I mentioned. I can't hear the little ball in this pen, so I'm gonna shake it real good. But I wanna try and do some little white embellishments. I'm honestly just gonna try and do some dots. Okay. It's actually pretty opaque. That's pretty awesome, actually. Just gonna do them all throughout so it doesn't look like I randomly put dots in that one spot. Let's try it on the blue. Okay, my friends, the white is pretty solid. Okay, it even works on the black. You guys, we have found a nice white acrylic paint marker. This might be the most exciting revelation of all from this drawing. Fun, good white. Okay, I like that discovery. I don't think I can leave it without finishing it and putting lines in. But instead of doing anything dark in the middle of that flower, I think I'm just gonna try and use the same pink and see what happens if I just layer more onto it. And see if that'll just stand out on its own as a center. It's not darker or anything. It's not like layering in darkness the way that watercolor would, for example, but I think it's just gonna give it like a little texture to show that it has a defined middle. Oh, when I look at this though, like if I stand back and look at it, I kind of love it without any defining lines. I'm worried that I'm gonna wreck it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it for now. And if someday I look at it and I'm like, I wish that had black lines on it, I'll just add them later. So now we do my favorite part, which is peeling the edges. Oh, the crispness. It's just so good. Ah, I love that. So there's my finished piece. And so Arrtx markers, I like them. They're fun. Acrylic markers are not something that I use all that often. I've just been a Tombow girly for so long because I do brush lettering and calligraphy, but these are really fun. I wouldn't use the brush for calligraphy and lettering simply because it doesn't really bounce back super well. But I will use them for coloring. I like them as an option that I can use for layering. I like the white. I like the box. I like the color selection. I think that's my review. So I hope you had fun watching. I encourage you to try doing a composition like this and really don't overthink it. Just have fun, just test colors, draw little doodly florals. They don't have to look realistic. This got some creativity out of my system, and although I probably will never frame this and hang it in my home, I think it's kind of cute. I'm gonna link you to another video next that I think you might like, and I hope I'll see you over there.